Hey, Closeteers. Hey, how you doing? All right, so I come bearing news. I won't call it bad news. I'll just call it news. I had talked about a job, and I did not get the position or the job. And I know some people would probably ask, why do I call it a job when it's mid six figures and not a career? And I say anything that isn't me writing movie scripts, plays, books, music is a job, because that is I have convinced myself that I am an Emmy winning, Dove winning, Tony winning, Oscar winning writer, songwriter, playwright, all that. I am just that. So anything I do outside of that is a job. It is not a career. And the only purpose of it is to help fund those things, my ideas, my creativity. That's what it is. So I feel confident in saying, even though it's mid six figures, I didn't get the job. And I'm not unhappy, because it was going to be a trying situation, because it's over 300 miles away from me. So that meant that I would spend 5 days somewhere else and basically come home from the weekend. So a lot of time away and a lot of flying and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't want to, but I would if I had to get what I'm trying to do done. I believe in making it happen, whichever way. I have to make it happen. Oh, and I forgot one thing, best-selling author. Yeah, I forgot that one. Sorry, but it brought up the rear just nice, just fine. I am at a point in my life, I'm at an age in my life where I am doing the things that I love to do, and sometimes it puts me in a tight spot financially, because I will not yield, right? I have yielded so much in my life. I've yielded so much of my time, so much of my wants, so much of my needs. I have yielded them to make sure others were okay. So I am in the season where I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm doing what I believe is self-care, right? What I believe is self-care. So I was a tad bit disappointed, only because I have a motto when it comes to me in interviews. If I get the interview, I got the job. And that has been true up until this point. So it was a little damaging to the little pride a little bit, but thank God I'm not too prideful, right? So and I did all the follow-up things that you do. I sent the thank you letter for interviewing me, and then of course once I was alerted that I did not get the job, I asked the critical questions of why. Was it something that I could have done better? All those good things, those good questions, right? And so that is where I am now. And the sad part is, where I live, I don't know of, I won't say they don't exist. I don't know of any mid six figure jobs in the field that I have the most experience. I have a lot of experience in different things. My portfolio, if you will, it reads for real like a serious story, because I have experience in a lot of different areas, right? I have a little experience in a lot of different areas, and then I have a lot of experience in 2 areas. So but what I have the most experience in, that will guarantee me 6 figures, it really doesn't transfer well to where I live, because what I do normally for work, for a job, is requires a port. And so I don't live by a port. So that's one of the hard choices that I face in looking for a job. More than likely I have to look 300 plus miles away from me. And then I have to be willing, to basically take care of 2 households, because I'll be spending 5 days somewhere else, right? And so that's where I stand with that. But it's not going to stop me from writing. It's not going to stop me from creating. It's not going to stop me from hustling. It's not going to stop me from pushing myself to be able to do what I love to do, because what I love to do as far as writing and creating helps me to do another thing that I love to do, which is helping people. I'm really big on helping people. Because of my past, I feel that there are certain times and points in my life where if I had someone to mentor me and to help me, my life could have taken a different road earlier on. No matter what, I believe I would have still ended up on the road of writing and creating. And here's why. When I wrote my first book, well, it was a play first. I wrote it as a play, and then I used the play as an outline to write the book. And I also wrote the music to it. But when that happened, I would have sworn I was no writer. Even in school, I hated writing any class. I dreaded those classes, but I got them out the way first because I knew that I didn't like doing them. And so I would have never considered myself a writer. Creative, yes. Writer, no. And when you have trauma, you forget things. You forget bad things, but you forget some good things as well. And as time go on and things are brought back to my remembrance, I realized that. And so one of the things that I had forgotten was that when I was in, I believe, 3rd grade, it was either 2nd or 3rd grade, I had written a play. And my teacher thought the play was so good that she actually had us perform the play in the classroom and in the auditorium for the school. And I was 2nd or 3rd grade, and I had totally forgotten about that. It was gone. It was one of those periods where trauma was taking place in my life. So along with the trauma, that got lost as well in my memory. So and I just so happened to be having a conversation with my daughter, and she was asking certain questions that she was asking me about writing and about being creative, and did I always know that I wanted to do it, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was beginning to explain, after I had told her, as far back as I could remember, I always wanted to be a civil rights attorney. I love the story of Thurgood Marshall. I absolutely love that story. So in school during Black History Month, that's the only time public school here in America will teach you anything about Black history. And unfortunately, my parents were not learned that way, where they would give me that knowledge. So the only knowledge of Black people that I had, or Black famous people, if you will, that I had, was that I learned in February once a year. And I had gotten to a point where I was tired of hearing about Mary McLeod Bethune, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, the same people. I had gotten to that point where I was tired of that. So I took it upon myself to find something else to do. I had enough of these people. Not, I appreciate everything that they did and sacrificed, but there has to be more Black people that have done things, right? That have done brilliant things. Like, these can't be the only people. So that's where I was at a very young age. And so that's how I stumbled across Thurgood Marshall. And I was so intrigued by his story. I was so intrigued. And so I wanted to be a civil rights attorney. And so I'm explaining that to my daughter. And she's just like, Mom, my daughter, who at this time, she is Muslim, she's learning, and she's deep diving into awareness. And so she's like, no, Mom. She's like, there's some way that because you're very creative, and that does not just happen overnight. She's like, that's the thing that you're born with. She said that there's something. And so just in the talking and the pulling, it came to my remembrance. And not only did it come to my remembrance, but it was so vivid. I remember the outfit that I had on when we performed a play in the classroom. I remember the teacher, and I said I was going to go look for this teacher, because once all that came about, I just remember this teacher like being very kind and gentle and caring and loving and concerned, because I had behavior that should have concerned many people. So I can remember her making the costumes. Like, she actually took the time to spend her own money and to make the costumes and stuff like that. I can remember, although it was just like vivid memories, I can remember all those things. But then I wasn't sure that I could trust it. I wasn't sure if it was a memory or a dream or something, right? I just wasn't sure. And as the conversation progressed, there was too much evidence, right, that this was real and not a dream. And so when I shared that with my daughter, she was like, she explained to me, she said, because it's that it passed down. She loves to write and create, and my granddaughter loves to write and create. And she was like, it's on the tree, Ma. It has to be. And she's like, it has to be there. And so that helped me realize, right, that this was something that I had a love for, and I was basically taken away from my love of wanting to be an attorney with life happening, right? With my rebellion towards, it's not really that's gone, because I still love it to this day. I'm still about civil and social justice. Another way that I love to help people, right? I don't, there are certain things that people should not have to struggle with or struggle for, in my humble opinion. One is food. I think that it's shameful that people actually die from hunger in a world that has an abundance of food. I believe it's a false narrative put out about shortages when it comes to food. I don't believe that. I believe the problem with food, as with any natural resource, when they get to saying a shortage, I believe it's hoarding, right? More than anything else. I believe it's hoarding more than anything else, not a shortage. And so it pains my heart. It pains my heart to see someone suffer from things like not having clean water, not having enough food, not having heating, not having gas to cook. I think that hurts my heart, and I'm really big on helping people like that. A part of my self-care, honestly, is caring for the well-being of others, right? I donate time and money to food banks. I don't see how it's possible that people could go hungry. I don't see, even if I could see homelessness, especially with the housing costs around the nation, and it is rising, you guys. Please keep an eye on that. Be careful. It's rising, and when it rises the way it's rising right now, we end up with situations like 2008 when the housing bubble burst. We end up with things like that. So we have to be careful. We, the people, control the oh my God, why I can't think of it. And I did take economics, the demand, and I can't remember, like stock and demand. We control that. It's not stock though, I know it isn't. We control that. When they holler gas shortages and we go get in long lines to use up the gas, we push the narrative and then we really make it a shortage. When they say there's a toilet paper shortage and we go and we hoard toilet paper, and we create the shortage, supply and demand. I knew it was going to come to me. We create that shortage when we do that, right? We have to be careful of stuff like that, because then when we create those shortages, inflation happens, prices go up. It's crazy. It's economics taught me a whole lot of things, and I ran from economics. Economics was one of the last classes that I took, and I had to take it twice. So I had to take like A and B in college. And it was like I kind of ran from it, but when I got the understanding of supply and demand and micro and macro, when I got the understanding of that, I'm a macro person. I care about the whole, right? The whole means more to me than the micro. The 99% or the 98%, if you will, is more important to me than the 1 or the 2%. And I know you guys, I hope you know what I mean when I say that. The 1 percentile, the 2 percentile means more to me. And I believe that if the 1% and the 2% wouldn't hoard, there wouldn't be a 99% or a 98%, right? That's just my beliefs. And I know, and I don't have a problem with being rich, because that's exactly what I am, right? So I don't have a problem with that, but I won't hoard it. I will not hoard it. That is a part of my self-care, seeing the next person do better. One of the things that I promised myself when I get my studio lot, my publishing company, my music studio, when I get all those things, I will share the knowledge as well as the wealth for those that are interested in doing what I have done, because I believe in standing on a platform and not a podium. See, on a podium, there's no room for anybody but you one. But on a platform, there's room for others, right? I am not threatened by someone being able to do what I do, or even being able to do what I do better, because here's what I know. I'm going to do what I do based on the abilities that God has given me, and I will reach and touch the people that God has for me to reach and touch, period. No matter what the next person is or isn't doing, right? No matter if the next person is better at this craft, at my craft, than I am, they can't, the chances are they can't reach and touch the same people that I can. So I stand firm in believing that I don't mind sharing the information, because the people that are assigned to me, I will get to them. I will reach them no matter what anyone else is doing. And so I don't mind sharing the information and the wealth. I definitely don't mind sharing the wealth, because again, it's those moments where I remember getting $5 worth of gas, knowing, well, I needed $20 worth of gas, but all I had was $5. And thinking like, if someone would just pay for the $15 worth of gas. I can remember those moments, being in a grocery store where I had $200 worth of groceries, but I only had $150. And it wasn't frivolous. It was $200 worth of needed groceries, right? So I can remember things like that. And so one of the first things that I did when God blessed me to be able to be a blessing was do just those things that I wish someone had done for me. I and I wasn't, it was very authentic because I wasn't going around in the store looking for it or anything. But if I was in the store behind someone who ran short, I just paid the difference, period. Right? Or I just paid for someone behind me in the drive-through, right? Or I see somebody get $5 of gas, and I'd say, oh, you want more gas than that here, and pay for more gas. I just did those things. I did the things that I wish that someone had done for me, period. And that's with what I had, right? It's with what I had. Wasn't a millionaire, but I had more than enough. And so because I had more than enough, I did not mind sharing what I had. I did not hoard what I had. I shared what I had, period. And that's how I've been. That's how when I had a little, I didn't do it just when I had a lot. When I had a little, I was the same person. Like, we're going to stretch and make it work, right? To help somebody else. I've opened my door to so many people, to help so many people, family, friends, all that. I can remember letting a friend of my husband's girlfriend live with us because she was pregnant and homeless, right? Pregnant and homeless. I knew this girl all of maybe 2 seconds, and I had kids. That's a very dangerous thing to do, especially when you have children. It's a very dangerous thing to do, but I did not want to see a pregnant woman on the streets. I did not, and she needed temporary help, like 2 months. She needed very temporary help, and I just couldn't see myself not helping in that situation, right? That's to me, that's a big part of self-care for me. And I'm doing this, and I'm bringing this around because a lot of people will mistake self-care for selfishness when you get to a point of saying, I'm putting myself first. So I want to lay some of the groundwork to let you know I have the right at this point to put myself first because I have been everything for everybody else. For so many people. And that's easy to say when you've done it for your family, right? And your friends. That's easy to say that, but I've done it for people that weren't friends, for people that I barely knew, right? I've done that. So I am not selfish, right? I am just in a season of self-care. And in this season of self-care, to those who seek to manipulate and use, maybe it will appear to be selfishness. Now, we had that conversation already. If that's what you feel, that's okay. I'm fine with that because, see, I know my work. And those around me know my work. So if that's, how you feel about me, then that's okay. I can take that. I can take it. I'm really, really at a point where... Oh, please don't get offended, but I give 2 fucks about what somebody think about me. Not 2 fucks. Let me say that right. About what somebody think or feel about me. I'm too old for it. I don't care anymore. Like, really, I don't. Especially when I know that my intentions are always good, right? And then when my intentions are not good, I check myself. I don't relish too long in doing something that just ain't right before it's like, girl, check yourself, right? So I give 2 fucks about what somebody feel about me. I cannot give 2 fucks about what somebody feel about me. So that's my self-care. That's my explanation of why I would consider a mid-6-figure job a job and not a career, because for me, a career is doing what I love. I can remember one of my professors, and I know this is a quote from someone else, but I remember him specifically quoting it to me, right? Do something that you love, or doing something that you love is having never to work again. Something to that effect. And That's how I feel. That's what I feel. And I love writing. I love creating. And so that is the career, if you will, for me, because that's the purpose. In my writing, there's a point to it, right? There is a point to it. There is an awareness, a transparency, or a call to action in my writing, in what I write. There, or just to bring notoriety to something, right? We ignore a lot of things in today's day and age. This, for me, having lived 40 plus years, nearly 50 years, what I can say is this generation coming up right here, I can't remember which generation it is. All this XZ, I think it's Z, but I'm not sure. In my opinion, are the wokest with action behind it, right? In my opinion. And I appreciate living to see that and living through that. Like these, I don't want to call them kids, young adults. These young adults, they are not playing when it comes to social justice. When it comes to equality, they're saying what they mean and meaning what they're saying, and they are putting action behind what they're saying. Their words. See, words are words. You can say a whole lot of stuff, but it doesn't become real until you put action behind it, and that is exactly what these young adults are doing, and I appreciate that. I even appreciate the fact that I have children that are a part of that. I appreciate that. I learn things from my children. Another part of self-care. It's another part of self-care. So I know it feels like I'm in different places, but all these different things come back around to self-care for me. It comes back around. I get joy out of seeing the younger generation move like they move, like they're moving, do what they're doing, right? I get joy out of seeing that because I can remember when I wanted to move that way and feeling like I was the only one. So to see them not only move like that, but to move like that in numbers, that feels so good to my heart. It feels so good to my heart. So that's a part of self-care for me. It brings me joy. Calling a mid six-figure job a job brings me joy because I have a higher purpose, right? So saying no when in a situation where I probably would have said yes brings me joy. So okay, so we're gonna deem this self-care too, right? I am so glad that you guys take the time to support me. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. And if you have not gotten a copy of Uncross the Church's Legs, which is the first book in a 3-part series, reach out to me. You can reach out to me at closettalk101@gmail.com. And it's just like the page, the CLOSETTALK 101@gmail.com. Just reach out to me and inquire about the book. And because I have copies, but it is also available on Amazon, on Barnes and Nobles, BAM, a lot. It's in South Africa. It's a lot of places. In London, I was shocked to find that out. So yeah, get your copy because book 2 will soon be dropping, which is Uncross the Church's Legs Exposed. And the first book was short and sweet and very, in layman terms, easy read, right? An easy read, but it's brutal. It's brutal. It's truthful, and a lot of people can't take that, but that's okay. Wasn't for them. That's how I feel. Book 2 is not as brutal, but it's more exposing happening. And I feel that before true reconciliation, the things that's done in the dark have to come to the light. And so that the last book will be reconciliation. And with each book, the book will get longer. The first book was 90 some odd pages. This second book, if I don't make any changes, is like 168 pages, something like that. And by the third book, which I've already started writing, I want to do about 220 pages, if not more. And with book 2, I don't know. I don't think I'll be adding anything. I don't think I'll be adding anything, but just in case. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, I love you guys. Please do me a favor. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. Okay, bye, Closeteers.